Government says the Essential National Industries Employment Decree 2011 is not an attempt to prohibit the work of unions. Under the decree, however, trade unionists must be employed by the corporation in which they represent the members. Attorney General Ayaz Syed Qayyum says this is to ensure union representatives fully understand both employer and employee concerns.
It's a piece of legislation that has changed the dynamics of our trade union movement. Under this decree, only in-house unions can represent workers. This automatically nullifies most of the country's trade union organizations.
We have had trade union officials who have completely gone off on a different tangent and not being able to sit down at the table and think about their employees themselves, who are really their constituency. And what has also happened is that we found that they have sort of offered them all sorts of perks and benefits, etc., which are completely unrealistic, because that company cannot afford, or that industry cannot afford, to provide those sorts of benefits.
But an expert on labor relations says this raises some serious issues.
It takes away the independence of the unions. If it's in-house unions, the union representative must be employed by the company, and so can be subject to manipulation or reprisals from employers. They can be sacked, they can be brought off by management from properly representing their fellow workers.
Government says the decree is also about safeguarding industries against unionists aligned to political parties.
Many of these trade unionists, in fact, are members of various political parties. Many of these trade unionists have, in fact, led a very sort of luxurious lifestyle compared to many of their members, and the sort of perks that they enjoy. But what we have to be concerned about is what is good for Fiji and the employees.
The legislation is basically anti-union, and we must appreciate our unions and work with them, as the Employment Relations Promulgation says. So on one hand you can look at it as being anti-union, and it's very obviously anti-union, and we'll look at some aspects of that if you wish. But it's also, on the other hand, you can say it's also very much pro-employer, pro-investor, pro-rich, pro-business.
The AG assures the decree does not prohibit the work of existing trade unions.
It undermines it. It undermines the ERP, it undermines the wages councils, it undermines the work being done by ERA, and it's totally against social justice.
The decree is yet to come into force. Rachana Nath, Fiji One News.